Happy end to quarter three, T-Bolt staff. I just wanted to say thank you so much for your time, your commitment, your work, and your effort this quarter. Quarter three is long. It is hard. It is dark. It is cold. And yet we persevered and pressed on to make sure we had an incredibly successful quarter with students. And for that, I wanted to say thank you. We do not have a staff meeting for a couple of weeks, and so I thought it was imperative that I just connect with you as a staff over a quick video just to talk to you about the importance of the quarter that we're going into. And that's not just testing, that's just about being sure we understand that quarter four is the most important quarter of the school year. I want us to think about quarter four as the start of next school year, not the end of this school year. And so creating a culture that we want next year, if we're always about improvement and always about growth, creating a quarter this year that we're proud of and that students are proud of so they can go into 24, 25 with momentum, energy, and excitement. So I'm going to reground in this idea that quarter four is the most important quarter of our school year. That's where achievement is made. That's where growth happens. That's where we celebrate graduation and celebrate all the great work that our kids and our staff has done together. And so in order to do that, we're just going to reground in a few things for this quarter. One thing that's been on my mind as I walk through and talk to teachers and staff is the need to develop more of a culture of learning. And I want us as a staff to use this term with kids when we're in classrooms, when we're in halls, when we're having one-on-one meetings, that at Manual we have a culture of learning. Some huge celebrations, right? Some things that we've done well this year. We've increased enrollment, we've increased attendance, we've decreased chronic absenteeism. When that means is conditions are right to develop a culture of learning. Some ideas around what a culture of learning is as we develop this quarter is making sure students are engaged in their learning, that they are focused. And this is a student behavior. I just want to make sure we hear this. This isn't a staff thing as much as putting ownership and expectation on students. Students are engaged and own their learning. They're not distracting others in the classroom. They're not having side conversations, not talking over. And they're not distracting themselves with technology, right? And so making sure that I and all of us on the admin team remind students that technology should only be out when given the green light by teachers and staff, that students are on time to class and that they stay in class. More on the stay in class here in a minute. And students achieve themselves and they help their peers achieve, that we're in this together collectively for growth. And so a word or phrase I want us to talk to kids about as a whole staff is a culture of learning, a culture of learning, a culture of learning. At Manual, we have a culture of learning. If we have a uniform message of communication that at Manual we have a culture of learning and we're building a culture of learning, then it's more, if it just comes from me, it's only going to go so far. If it just comes from the admin team, it's only going to go so far. If we all use that phrase over and over again, culture of learning that we're developing and growing, we're going to see growth and gains this quarter in how students engage in their learning and in their work in the classrooms. In order to do that, this is just for the next couple of weeks. I'm going to think about the next 2 weeks from when we start quarter four till the start of spring break. And this is going to really be our focus in making sure that we can clean up and clear up our hallways and classrooms to continue to build the conditions for that culture of learning. Our quarter four needs to be our strongest quarter yet. And so I'm going to ask each of our groups here to take some ownership in some of the work that we do to own classroom culture and hallway culture. First, we've asked all staff to be in the halls during passing period. It's one thing to be in the halls. It's also another thing to be active in the halls. So I'm going to challenge all of us, teachers, support staff, admin, that in the halls that you're picking students, especially in that last 1 to 2 minutes prior to the bell ringing, to walk to class. We're not just out there to be present. I know it's a student safety thing, but we're helping get kids to class. So find a student that you think might be late, buddy up with them, walk into class, wish them well, and make sure they stay. So that's admin and student support staff, that we're not just there, but that we're active in the hallways. Find a student, walk into class, celebrate them, get them into the room to learn. And also I'm going to challenge student support staff and admin, not just to support in the halls, but to go into classrooms and not just go and walk through, but sit with groups of students, take 10 to 15 minutes to do work, to ask kids what they're doing, to see how you can help, to make sure that you are sitting next to students as they engage in their learning this quarter. So student support staff, please pick a student, walk them into class in the final 1 to 2 minutes of passing period. be present and active in the halls, and make sure that you go see students in classrooms doing their learning. Teachers, just regrounding in our expectations. No bathroom passes in the first and last 10 minutes of class. One pass in, one pass out at a time. Please be at your doors during passing period. And also, if you lose a pass, that's fine. We can get more passes, but we just want to make sure you have them. It shouldn't be something you're embarrassed by. We'll get you a new one. Just let a dean or an administrator know that you lost it, and we'll get them to you. No problem. But keep the pass near you. This idea of a hanging pass or rotating pass. Now, if you feel like that's your system and is working well, great. But if it's one of those things that you don't know how to manage, ask a coach or an admin on how they manage their pass system of one in, one out. One thing I didn't put here, but I want to reiterate, is the importance of bell to bell. We're ending classes, especially fourth period, early, 3:35, 3:36. Class goes till 3:40. If you need exit ticket routines that take learning all the way to the bell, reach out to your coach. But that's something that, as we're in the halls this quarter, making sure that you're going bell to bell. It's essential for the clarity of hallways and for learning to maximize all of our minutes. And then there's ownership on the admin team, and specifically me as the building leader is regrounding in our systems, making sure that we have our lunch tardy system in the auditorium back up and running for quarter four, that there's clarity in the fishbowl for who's there, when, why, and how that's communicated out. There's hallway presence. I know I have to free up my calendar more to be more present in the halls, especially in the afternoon. And so that's on me to make sure that I do that, and the admin team to make sure we are out and about and also supporting in classrooms and not just the hallways. And so I'm going to go back to this idea that quarter four can be our most important and best quarter yet. If we continue to reground in our systems, I'm going to encourage us and challenge us all to internalize that language of culture of learning, and then to act on some of the requests here in the halls and in classrooms to make sure we have a great start to our quarter four. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. I cannot